Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us after the premiere of Saving Maddie. Appreciate you guys being here. I see we have Life with Ben here, and we have Ron here, Maddie's father. And Brent, that is amazing. Brenda, you mean? Yeah. Thanks for being here, Ron. Glad you're here. Very glad you're here. We had such a great time with you guys in Tennessee, except for the whole getting the car stuck thing. But that's another story. It's much better now. And so we have quite a few people with us now already. So I wanted to ask some feedback. People have some insights, some comments, thoughts about the premiere, about this story, Saving Maddie. What kind of things stood out to you? It's kind of like the standard go-to question that I ask after every premiere because I don't know where else to start, and it seems like a good place to start. So, what do you think? It's powerful. I like how these three stories, Maddie, Ben, and Gray. I like how the three stories sort of support each other. How they reinforce each other. And I like the whole thing of seeing the three families together at the end of Maddie's story. That I think that's a powerful thing. Hello, Sam, or formerly known as Sam. What was it that last time? It was formerly known as Sam. Glad you're here. Cool that you're here. I guess you finished the kitchen up pretty quick. Good job. Your kitchen. So who else is with us? Who else is in the environment here who might have some questions for us or the uh, about the channel, about these stories, about other stories. I'm Ben's brother, formerly known as Sam. So the proper name would be Ben's brother now? Is that how we should address you? Live with Ben says, thank you, Glenn. You nailed our stories. This is going to save lives. It is exciting to see how how much attention the stories have gotten. That they are really impactful stories and they really provoke thought. They provoke discussion and debate, challenging the concepts. I think that it's important because it creates dialogue. That I think it puts the medical community on notice a little bit, and it puts consumers on notice a little bit, makes them more aware because doctors listen to their customers. I'm sure there's some doctors who really hate that, calling their patients customers, but that's what they are. They're patients as well, but they're also customers. And you're obligated to listen to them. You ought to be. irritated about that, but you know, pharmaceutical companies have figured out that if you advertise to the general public and get the doctor's customers to ask for the drug, that works. Why does that work? Doctors, why does that work? If the pharmaceutical companies can go around you, what does that say about you? Holy cow. I'm sorry. I kind of went off there. I'll try to trim it back a little bit, but I don't get it. Sam's just kidding. I don't know about beautiful. Sam, he said buying a new one would be easier than ever getting that one clean. Kimberly says, I know that Julie didn't want to give Maddie cannabis. Yeah, it's you want to do whatever works. True, Glenn. You're talking about my tirade about the doctors, about how doctors can be led down a merry path by pharmaceutical companies because the pharmaceutical companies go to the demand, and the demand is the customer, the patient, the customer. It is funny. There has been times when I've been talking to doctors and I have deliberately exchanged the word patient with the word customer. And it makes them clench up a little bit. It's brilliant. I love it. Sam says she has glasses now. Is that Maddie you're talking about? What have I missed? I'm going back. Sam, you laugh, but when my husband had to do dishes one night, I found a dirty skillet in the trash. Well, problem solved, right? It's in the trash. It's solved. So, who cares? I bet Maddie was scared. That's certainly right. Ron Reed says, with only doing FICO, we want people to have it as an option. We're not saying anything against standard medicine, just that FICO works and people should be able to have that option. For sure. For sure. No one is being hypercritical standard medicine. Well, okay, maybe I was a little bit, but just a little bit. Just a little bit because of what we see work. OxyContin created a disaster, and you had to have a prescription to get it. So there's that. Anyway, so well, they won't treat unless they're paid. Right. What is FICO? Full extract cannabis oil. That's what FICO stands for. And that is the thing that Maddie and Ben and Gray have in common is that they all used FICO to as a treatment, and they all got positive results with what they have done. And what they have done is a varying levels of other substances, other treatments, other medicines as well. So the big message to this is to do your own research more than anything else. Do your own research, get out there, figure out what matters, figure out what works, talk to people, go to pages on Facebook like Pray for Gray and whatever other pages that Life with Ben or Sam Castor or anyone else in the group could suggest. I feel like it's important to have this open dialogue. One of the things that I've really noticed is we have we have several physicians that we interact with regarding our content, and they are not happy about these saving stories. They they have criticized them to me, but they Bongino post Roosevelt. Who's Bongino? Anyway, they have criticized the stories to me, but when it comes time to asking about specific problems with it, they fall short with responses. And so, without they will discredit the documentation. They'll discredit the research as saying that it isn't scientific or that it isn't comprehensive or it isn't measured scientific or whatever. Okay, that isn't that doesn't discredit the content. It just identifies that there is a need for more research, and that's the big hurdle that I feel like exists with the doctors that I've spoken with is that there's a kind of denial thing. Nope, nope, not going to do that. And I don't I don't I don't know what it is. I don't believe that it's because of money, because doctors aren't pharmaceutical companies. They get their money from patients, not drug sales. So, that doesn't make sense. Sam says, Glenn, did you remember to download my document about my first question? Oh, download your document about the first question. Gosh, Sam, as long as there's no follow up question, yeah, sure I did. So, Sam, you gotta refresh. Download my document about my first question. What about Chinese? Oh, Ron says 100, Glenn. 100 what? I don't know what you're saying, Ron. Dogs. Happens. So I don't know what to make of 100, Ron. I don't know. Glenn, did you remember to download my document about my first question? What was your first question? Your first question tonight? Well said, I meant by you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, when me going off on doctors. It's the thing that you wanted to show us on Ben's after review. It was a joke. Oh, Sam. Sam, you should just be like right here. Just the two of us could do this, and oh, here on Earth or here for the interview. Oh, well, I should have. The first question. No, yeah, I needed to. I need to render that out. I don't think I can do that while I'm doing a live because a live certainly uses a lot of resources on my computer, and so would rendering out a clip like that. No, Sam. No, no. I got to get it ready. I got to make it happen now. I totally forgot. I wish I would have thought of it. If I would have known you were going to be here, I probably I probably would have had it ready to go because that would have been a kick to be able to let people hear that. Oh, I got a notice. I got an email notice saying that I'm live on my channel. Hmm. How about that? Some of the stuff going on, I don't get it. There's a story in the news about UFOs underwater or some nonsense like that. I don't. Kimberly's asking, has Julie tried kimchi? I don't know what that is. Risk says, I love sauerkraut. Uh, it's all right. Brenda says, Sam, sorry, but I was feeling sorry for Glenn. Next time I will try to wait long. You are indeed, Glenn. I don't know what you're referring to, Sam, but thanks, I think. Risk, you are making me hungry. I too love sauerkraut. That's a German thing. Yeah, yeah. We. Okay, I get it now. I get it. Kimchi is cabbage. Mm, all right. Is kimchi supposed to be some sort of treatment? Supposed to have some health benefits or something like that? Is that? Yes, Sam. I see. Glenn ellipsis, and I don't know what to do with that, Sam. I feel like more is coming, but clearly it's not here yet. Ron says, I want to I want to just say Glenn did an unbelievable job on all of our stories. It was such a pleasure to hang out with him and do this. I love his work, and you, Glenn, are making a difference. Thank you. Well, thank you, Ron. It was a great time. Uh, it was uh, it's really healthy benefits. It was a great time hanging out with you guys and having that time in the cabin and up there in the wherever we were in Smokies near Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and just such a cool family dynamic that just brought everyone together. That it was very cool. So I know that I asked Sam this last time. So Ron, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what the interview process was like for you. That sitting there, how was that? Was that uh, what was that experience like? Brenda says, Ron, I agree. Glenn is making the world a better place and inspiring many of us to do better. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Sam says, remember, y'all got your car stuck at the cabin. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember I wasn't driving. I remember that too. Love you. Sam says, love you, Julie, Ron, Maddie, and Lucas. You all too, Sam. Ron, I agree. Glenn. Okay, we did that. So what was the interview process? You really hate when valid questions are what was the valid question? What did I miss, Brandon? I just have this little scroll window going here, and I've got all this other stuff. I've got audio level to look at and YouTube stuff to look at, and I get distracted by the news that's playing right up there. So sometimes I miss questions. Did I miss a valid question? Julie says, Glenn, you did great. Well, thank you, Julie. Uh, Glad you're here, Julie. Thank you for sharing our kids' stories. They're wonderful stories. The officer on fentanyl that stabbed his son out in California. I don't. Will you cover the officer's story? What did I miss? Glenn, an unbelievable job. No, I got that. The officer's story. I don't know anything about the officer's story. We're certainly open to covering the officer's story. We've done a lot of work with law enforcement, and that doesn't mean we're hesitant to be critical of the actions of law enforcement when it merits critical analysis. There is a story on our channel that is very critical of the Austin Police Department. The name of the story is No Justice for Andron, and it's on our channel, and it's about a fentanyl story. It's sort of a follow up to Andron Petaway's story, which is one of the earliest in our series. It's one of the first 40 or so of our series. It's now over 300 episodes. So so as far as the story out in California, if there's someone for us to talk to that that would like to talk to us, we're game. We've never turned anyone away. Very seldom that we contact someone soliciting a story. Maybe we contact people asking for feedback on a story, but if we don't get a response, we don't get a response. That without feedback on a story, it wouldn't be appropriate for silence to mean anything other than opting not to respond. So uh, feedback we the catch is the feedback has to be credible, so it has to come from the source, not from some representative of the source. So out in California, recently in the news, Brenda says, Brenda, don't take a missed question personally. If you see Glenn reading a post later than the question, just go ahead and ask again. You tell him, Brenda, that's right. Just ask it again. I miss stuff. It happens. Sacramento, Officer Morales we're certainly open to doing that. We don't typically we don't we I if we could speak with if we could speak with family members and get input from them, and then contact law enforcement in Sacramento and ask them for a response or for feedback or whatever. There's been several times when we've sent people copies of raw interviews for them to look at and give us feedback. It's going a little farther than what the canons of journalism dictate, but it's really important to us to create every opportunity for someone to let us know. So let me see where I'm at here. Brenda, I read that story and I was wondering if he was on fentanyl. I was hoping he got clean after he got busted 2 years ago. Brina says, doubt it, Brenda. I'll have to wait on the news, Glenn. It's such a heartbreaking story. It sounds like it. I'm going to look into more of it when we're done here. I'll look into it, but it's one of those things where we're when we need a starting point. Family member, victim's family member, something. He went viral months ago for being Narcan in the police station's bathroom. Okay, I remember that. Brianna, I think I got off fentanyl just in time. The aggression is new, but many are talking about it now. It is something they are cutting it with now. I am so freaking lucky. We are glad you're here, Brenda. You do so much here. And Viola is here. Hello, Viola. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. So I wonder, did anyone see in the news? I wonder, how do I do this? I wonder, did anyone see in the news about the event at the White House on Monday? Just to clarify, I do not think any form of substance use should be used as a mitigating factor in any criminal behavior. Yeah. Uh, I have this. Where am I here? Graphics. I'm trying to find. We had there was an event at the White House that had a handful of bereaved parents standing behind the president while he signed a fentanyl related document, and four of the five bereaved family members that were present for the event are storytellers on our channel. Four out of five. It's just I don't know how to describe it. It makes my heart happy for them that they got to be in a place where something uh, something positive happened. Viola says I saw it. Brenda says I did. Yeah, we put it on our Facebook page, and it's also on our YouTube channel. There's a still image from that. So yeah, but it's a exciting thing when top levels of government, regardless of who's in office, doesn't matter. Now, people who Brenda says now people who are drugged like Dr. Bren are ones who go into psychosis. Then that behavior should be judged accordingly. But for those of us who use drugs every day, we should pay our debts to society, and and that's uh, being one that dealt with it. So we'll get back to that in a minute, there, Erica. But that's cool that you brought that up because I was I was thinking about Bren when you made your comment about that you don't think any substance use should be mitigating factor, and that made me think about Bren. So it's cool. I think that you brought that up. Brina Boo, I was shocked to see the White House photo. Shocked? Uh, Erica Patir Bulch, being one that dealt with a son on addiction. I don't understand what your point is, what you're trying to say, Erica. And he is a clean, awesome man today. That's fantastic. Brina says Brina says I was shocked to see the White House photo. Shocked how? What is that? I mean, it was. It's a funny thing dealing with the White House because it's when something like that happens, it's secret for a while, a good long while, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, and then because we were in the White House during the summer in July, we were there for the signing of the Halt Fentanyl Act by the president, and uh, it was a surreal experience. It was my wife and I and one of our editors were able to go to this event and to be and it was in the east wing of the White House and and we're sitting in the audience on the second row. And the first row is reserved for senators. And so these two guys that are right in front of me are senators. And while we're sitting there waiting for the event to begin, we're talking, but we're not talking like some guy with a YouTube channel talking to a couple of senators. It's just three guys talking. It was a lot like when you're in high school and you're sitting in class waiting for the teacher to come in the room and you're kind of cutting up with your buds. It was okay. So anyway, yeah, I digress, but it was a funny kind of moment. Let's see, and he's clean and awesome today. That's awesome, Erica. We haven't seen Carla or Brad tonight. I'm sure she's okay. Maybe they're out having dinner, some sort of holiday thing or something like that. Just saying how they criticize. How they criticize. You mean the people who subscribe to the stigma and fuel the stigma, that kind of thing. Is that I think that's what you're talking about, but I'm just trying to be clear. Brenda says, Eric, how is your son now? I am 15 months clean, but I sure hurt my family and will forever try to make it up to them and all of society. Well, you're doing that, Brenda. You really are. The things that you do here, the things you do here, reach however many people that are here. Right. So far, I can tell you, we've had 100 viewers through the room. Right now, we have 16, and we only have 10 thumbs up, but we have 16 right now. But 100 people have been through here, and within the next few days, the total number of views will get up around 500 or 600 people. And Brenda, your message is a part of what those people take from watching these events. You contribute a lot. Even if they're not reading the chat, they're seeing the interaction between you and I. They're hearing what I say based on what you tell me. And so Julie's bringing it back around to the topic, to the story. I wish doctors were more open to other possibilities. You would think if they saw our stories, maybe we want to look into it a little bit deeper to see if this would really help. But they totally blow it off. Yeah, the doctors that we interact with aren't researchers. And I think that may be part of the problem. But now, so far, we have 3 stories like this on our channel, and they're getting more and more views every day. And hopefully, they get in front of the right kind of person to drive some much needed research. That would be a reasonable reaction. There is this weird, we have this cannabis induced psychosis series. And from the cannabis induced psychosis series, we hear from a lot of cannabis defenders. And they say things like, no, it couldn't have been the cannabis, had to have been a pre existing problem with the victim. Or it had to be cannabis that was laced with something, or it's been sprayed, or it had to have been synthetic cannabinoids. It had to be spice. It had to be K2 or whatever. That's like their go-to thing. Physicians, on the other hand, do the exact same thing the other direction. They draw conclusions not based on research or data, just based on what they're told by me. I'm just a video guy. I'm some would say I'm a journalist. I have a degree in journalism. I I guess I'm kind of a journalist, but I'm a YouTube guy. So it's very strange. Viola says, hit the thumbs up, please. Just no one understands unless in it. So sad. I pray they all get better. Yeah, having a good grasp on it is out of reach unless you've been through it, I think. But it's possible to have a better grasp on it uh, than what people have. People just resist. They it's like they have these sorry. It's like they just don't want to hear it. Like they will cover their ears and go la 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 la, so that they don't hear whatever doesn't fit within their preconceived notions about whatever they tend to filter their information through what's called by behavioral scientists as it's called confirmation bias. And John, I'm looking at this thing that's happening on News Nation right now, and we're seeing pictures of uh, Jeffrey Epstein, and beside him is Alan Dershowitz doing an interview with Chris Cuomo. And of course, obviously, the sound is off, and Dershowitz is doing the talking. I have no idea what he's saying, but he looks like he's not being truthful. He's aggravated. He looks aggravated. It's weird. It's weird that I'm drawing that conclusion based solely on his body language. Aggravated for sure. Yeah. So anyway, I hope that the tide will shift in our favor soon. We need to get rid of fentanyl before it can take out another generation. Now, some would say that the tide is shifting. That the rate of fatalities from illicit fentanyl has started to decline. It's not declining fast enough, but it has started to decline, and the decline started in the middle of the Biden administration. I know that some of you cringe to hear that, and some of you say "yay" to hear that, and either way, you're wrong. There is no there is no credit to be had about any administration. The trend of fentanyl deaths started in 2012, 13 years ago. 13 years ago. The crisis spans four administrations and includes both parties. Everybody had a bite at this apple and didn't do anything. Where is FICO purchased? Now, see, there's one of those questions we get a lot, and we just kind of steer clear of it because we don't want to be uh, yeah, just don't want to do that level of selling, I guess is the way to put it. But the best way to learn more would be to do your own research, and we have resources, we have suggestions about. There is Pray for Gray. Go to find Pray for Gray on Facebook. There's that, and there's other resources. We have links in the stories, and And Julie says some great things about how to search, about how specific you need to be when you're talking when you're doing these searches to find the right answers, to find answers that are specific enough. So do that. Thank you for sharing your stories. It was an honor to work with you. Shucks, Jewel, an honor. Come on. Shucks. Knock it off. Knock it off. It was such a cool thing. Kimmy's got an answer. FICO can be purchased by calling local dispensaries and independent caregivers in legal states. What an awesome answer. Such a good, constructive, valuable answer that requires more work. That's that's a perfect answer, Kimmy. Good job. You just need to make sure it's organic, clean, and multi-strain FICO. Now, there's some additional information that's really important. That'd be the kind of thing that I would think you'd be able to learn from being a part of Pray for Gray on Facebook. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kimmy. And uh, Brina said, I'm not looking to purchase. I just want to understand. And then poop, the message went away. So, yeah, but those things are critical from what I learned from talking with Julie and from talking with Kimmy. And basically talking with the whole big giant extended family that was all in that cabin. So many states are illegal and dispensaries can be a good starting point for educating yourself on it. But full extract cannabis oil, multi-strain, and what else did you say? Something about clean, organic, clean, and multi-strain FICA. Viola says, yes, an honor, Glenn. Shucks, thank you. Viola, I had to go toe to toe with several doctors over my daughter's care. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Doctors are great, but they are not God. Yeah. And some of them, not all, but some of them feel like they are God. They have there's it's called a God complex, and you hear about it, and that it's a thing with some doctors. There's doctors who will talk to you and tell you about a problem, like two respectful humans communicating, and then there's doctors that will tell you about a problem more like a parent telling a child and talk to you like, well, you can't understand this because you're not a doctor, but here's what we're gonna do. And so it's hard to identify which category any doctor falls into until you've dealt with them, until you're in it. Kimmy says, hi, Glenn. Love the doc. You are forever family and did a wonderful job for us. Well, thank you, Kimmy. It was joy to get to do this because, uh, well, you guys are all a kick. But aside from that, so many of our stories involve death, and it was cool to have some stories with happy endings and stories of promise. And so it was a wonderful healing thing for me, and we are certainly eager, glad to do more. I think there's a lot more stories out there, and for every story that that we were able to publish on our channel. It's another little knock at the door saying, hey, some of you scientist types need to do some research based on what we're finding. This is just a video guy on YouTube, and he's finding out stuff. So, holy cow, maybe we should too. Yep, got to stay toe to toe. Okay, I'm just trying to understand the difference. Kimmy says lab testing is very important, and any reputable source, any reputable source should be able to produce that. Good stuff. Good stuff. You know, Kimmy, feel free to answer some of the comments on the YouTube channel uh, uh, for people that are asking about that, because those are, or give them some kind of guidance. That would be cool. Brenda says, now I only get invited to attend doctor appointments with her when a problem has arisen. She is regaining her independence. So beautiful. Though I'm pretty sure beautiful is misspelled, but that's okay. I still figured out what it means. So I hear this weird noise. I don't, I don't know what it is for sure, but the fact that lab testing is very important, that's a big deal. We've kind of bounced around quite a bit, haven't we? We've gone back and forth between talking about cannabis and talking about fentanyl, and talked about other stuff as well. What other kinds of things are on your minds? Share, share. What should we be talking about? Fentanyl has been in the news a little bit this week, and there is all of that blowing up speedboats thing. And I don't know. What do you guys think about blowing up? What do you guys think about blowing up speedboats? Is that reasonable, or are they fishing boats? Viola says if you're brave enough to participate in research, I leave there feeling like a pincushion. But hey, it's only once per year. I was a test subject when I was in college. I was a test subject for it was sleep related research. I actually got paid $60 to sleep in a soundproof room while they administered these mild electric shocks. The idea was that electric shock could be used as a anesthetic replacement. But the end result was when I was in college, I got paid $60 an hour to sleep. Someone asked about another topic, and I don't remember what it was. Someone asked if we would be open to doing a story about. Hmm, we got an inquiry from Canada. I remember someone suggested that we do some sort of documentary story about the COVID stuff, the vaccine, the outbreak, all of that. And we're certainly game to. Typically, all of our stories begin with someone who wants to share a story coming to us and asking to share their story. And we don't, we've never turned anyone away. I'm sure it'll happen one day, but it hasn't happened yet. No, Viola says if you're brave and I read that already, didn't I? I see this big long list of comments, and I'm not sure I caught all of them. So uh, if there's something I missed, just ask it again. Make the comment again. Is Sam still here? It seems like it's like he's gotten quiet, and that's out of Sam's nature, I believe. I'm sitting over here trying to sort out in my head how to play that little clip of Sam's answer to my first question during his interview. When I do these interviews, it is sort of my standard first question is to ask the very broad question, "Why are you here?" And I like the question because it's wide open. It can be it can be whatever the person answering the question wants it to be. But no one, except for Sam or the guy formerly known as Sam or whatever, there's no one has ever come back with asking, "You mean why am I here on Earth, or why am I here today?" But that was Sam's answer. You mean why am I here on Earth? Brenda is back with her Diet Coke. And I see we have been here. We've been here almost an hour. We're like a minute shy of having been here for an hour. Julie says there are so many others like ours. Hopefully, once they see our stories, more will come out of the woodwork. I think that would be awesome. I know that there's more stories out there, and I hope that that more will want to join the growing message that's coming from these stories. There is something about having a list of stories that all present similar results that amplifies the credibility of every story in the list. And so we are. Huh. Well, sometimes I just look at broadcast news and I wonder, what are they thinking? Hit the thumbs up, Viola says, and Viola's right. Yeah. Thumbs up matters. It's always good to have a thumbs up. It's always good to, yeah. So some of you, okay, here's the thing. Uh, we do have some different people in the audience here that the stories like this, these healing stories, are they draw a little bit of a different audience. We have some people here that aren't typically in the live events after like a fentanyl story, and so some of you may not know that we have a merchandise store. Anyone I've given a T-shirt to, a storyteller a T-shirt to, they know that we have a store because that's part of my spiel when I give them the shirt. But one of the things that's in the store is a coffee mug. and it's an outrageously priced coffee mug. I think this mug costs like $16, which is pretty outrageous. It's got the Texas Pictures logo. Look, let me get it in the right place. There we go. Texas Pictures logo. And then on the back, it says stories that matter. How cool is that? And it's self cleaning. I think that's why it is so expensive, is because it's self cleaning. As long as you stick to just drinking black coffee in it, never need to wash it ever. See, I mean, yeah, you can't see anything in there. See, that's perfectly clean. Mm. And empty. Viola says, I would literally give my life to save a baby that's sick like Maddie. And Maddie is not sick now. Is that a reasonable way to put that, Julie? Get the black coffee cup because it doesn't show grime. Glenn's been has been washed like one time in years. Yeah, that's it. Black coffee cup. Same kind of logic works with black underwear too, I think. So anyway, it is getting to be a little bit late. We're here over an hour now, and we're probably going to wrap it up pretty soon, but not quite yet. I'm still here. We are always game for more stories. We have a story coming out. Our next story is going to be Sunday, and we're gonna try to do a live event with the storyteller in one of like a two window, window here, window here, kind of screen thing. We're gonna try that. The storyteller, his name is John Gallagher, and it's a story from Ridgeland, Mississippi. He's in recovery. It's a very powerful story. He lost his sister to fentanyl, and that drove him into recovery. It's a powerful story, and that's going to be Sunday evening. And the reason it's going to be Sunday evening is because Monday, my wife and I are taking a small vacation, and we're not going to be available. There will be another story published on Tuesday and another one on Thursday, and then probably Saturday again. Probably. Viola says, Brenda, you and I stay on the same page. I love it. I guess I should have read what the comment was about. No, not sick anymore. Sorry, was sick. Was. Viola, I feel that way about all the youth lost to fentanyl. God could have taken me to save one of them. I had a wonderful life before addiction. Viola says, Brenda, you and I stay on the same page. Brenda says, cool, we haven't had a storyteller live in a long time. Can't wait. Yeah, the dual window thing, working that out. I have to refigure it out every time we do it. And so it's always a little bit of a challenge. But I think John will be a good one because we have a lot of people that are in the group that are in recovery. And so having someone who's in recovery who can join us, participate, that's It just seemed like a recovery story kind of do a live thing would be good. He has his own podcast and a his own YouTube channel. Very interesting guy. And hmm, so anyway, Julie says she's thriving now, meaning Maddie. But I appreciate you saying that she will always need prayers. We all always need prayers. Brenda says, Glenn, when you set up the live with the Storyteller Sunday, make a cheat sheet. Then you won't need to reinvent the wheel next time. That sounds good. That sounds like a great idea. May not be realistic. So, but it is about time to wrap things up here for tonight. I always like to remind you guys that that we're here for you guys. You can reach out to us anytime. And clearly, there's some sort of excitement going on that's got the dogs barking. But huh. So it is time to wrap it up, and we know what Brenda's going to say. She's going to say that remember that what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. I really, there it is. I love that. I think that's awesome. So it is time to wrap it up. And we always like to close by reminding everyone that you can reach out to us at any time. You can email us at info at texas-pictures.com. You can find us on Facebook under my name and the Texas Pictures Company name as well. And you can visit our website. We're on TikTok as well, but don't pay a lot of attention to messages on TikTok. And you can visit our website, texas-pictures.com. You can find information about how to share your story. There's a link to the merchandise page, merchandise store. And there is more information about us, a mailing address, telephone number, some of our older work and from back in the industrial days, and all that cool stuff. So thank you very much for joining us for this live after the premiere of Saving Maddie. And I will look forward to seeing you folks again Sunday evening, somewhere around 7:15. Good night, everyone.